Yep, I'm ready. I'm watching the window here. Well, this is better than last time. Remember last time we that was like a good 20 minutes of troubleshooting.
That's so funny because I had everything nailed down and all I had to do was hit record. So
That's
there you go.
okay. Oh, look at me with my fresh haircut.
Looks beautiful.
Yeah, thank you. I know I'm feeling a little I'm feeling a little off still. I feel better today finally. I've been sick since Friday though.
Yeah.
Super annoyed.
And we got a, good Ebening, an Unai Emery homage from FPL Wanabe. Wanabe.
Oh yeah, I got to figure out how I can look at these comments. Not that I not that I want to
Look at Sharp.
slavishly follow them, but I do want to look.
Yeah, okay. I like this. Wannabe is getting some early match predictions in here. I think we should get those from anybody who is in the chat. Post your predictions there. Let's see. I play this. Some other Patreon members play this score prediction game that our friend Jeff Petter set up. Let me find out what I put in as a score prediction here.
Okay.
Pulling that up. I've got 2-1 to the Brighton. What do you think about that shout, Josh?
Yeah, let's get some. Yeah, the game. We have 1 minute. The match is starting right now. Okay. Yeah. I mean, these derbies, I feel like they're always kind of high scoring, right? So I'll say 2-2. I say 2-2 draw. I feel like it's one of the it's like the funniest derby, right? Because it's like a derby for two clubs that need a derby, right? It's like it's not really. But I remember like when when Wilf Zaha was there, he was like really into this derby. It was like something that he
Hmm.
really, you know, put,
Do you think
put a
the
lot of stock
derby?
into.
Yeah, this derby is like you have a friend who's kind of a loner and has not been in a relationship for a long time, and your friends are like, I've got this great person I could introduce you to, and they also don't have anyone to hang out with. And you guys like have common interests. You could go to the movies together. Maybe you'll hit it
Yeah.
off.
Wait, just
All
so
right,
we're
we're
on
off.
the. Yeah, are you at like 6 seconds right now?
I'm at 6 seconds now.
Okay. All right.
So maybe
I
we've
might be
got
like
like a
three
three, four
seconds
second
ahead of
delay.
you. It is like it is very hard in the streaming age to get this stuff completely right, isn't it?
It
Okay.
is, and for those of you who don't know, I'm basically using the Ukrainian satellite internet, so
Right.
maybe some latency will stem from that on
I
my
like
side.
Ukrainian satellite internet sounds better than Elon Musk's side
Yeah,
project, right?
I'd
Yeah.
rather stand with the Ukraine than with Mr.
Yeah.
Musk.
All right. So I had to like wrap up. I'm sort of you like you're in this in between phase right now, where you're going to um, Toronto. I don't even know when you're. Well, you don't even know when you're going there, right? Like you could be there in the first week of January or the fourth, or like you're still kind of up in the
Yeah.
air on that, right?
Yeah, it's a little bit of limbo. We do have an apartment. Our lease begins
Okay.
January 1st, but we are without visas, and my wife still needs her work permit.
Okay.
She's gonna have to go to the border. It's gonna be like the
Wow.
movie Traffic. Like sometime after Christmas, she's gonna drive up to the border and get a work permit, and then probably go drop some stuff off at the apartment. But yeah, this is true holiday break stuff right now in limbo.
In this match, to Dave Wagner Lodell's question, it is of course a pure watch. How could it not be? I mean, Brighton are weirdly unownable. I thought they would be one of the most important fantasy teams going into the season. Like everybody was priced fairly reasonably. Matoma was great. Stupinan was great. You had João Pedro, maybe Evan Ferguson, right? Like the forwards were TBD. Maybe you
Right.
wanted a second defender. I mean, after all, they had great fixtures to start the season, so maybe maybe we should just go all in, maybe triple up on that Brighton defense. And instead, we've had injuries, goalkeeper rotation, every defender spot rotated, every forward spot rotated. I mean, João Pedro has been like the highest scoring player in the Euros, right? It's like all
Yeah.
off the bench. He's got like 7 goals in 85 minutes or something. Like it's kind of insane how well he's done in these European matches.
An
But
interesting
yeah,
comparison for him is Richarlison because they're both being tasked to really prove themselves,
Hmm.
often coming off of the bench in high pressure situations. Pedro seems like he can handle the pressure a little bit better than Richarlison. To
Yeah.
Richarlison's credit, he's playing at a slightly higher level than Joe Pedro is. But yeah, I'm still kind of baffled why Deserby insists on rotating this squad as much as he does. How do you get a
Yeah.
rhythm going?
And you can't really argue that it's working, right? Like there
No.
was sort of a feeling last year, like, well, they're sort of they had all these matches kind of stacked up. I think it gave us an idea that he was rotating by necessity last season, and I think now we know that he's like a mini. Even Pep doesn't even rotate that much anymore. I feel like Pep rotation is like he rotates less than like half of the managers in the Premier League. I feel like he's actually like a fairly stable manager at this point. Like Kyle
Yeah,
Walker
it's
started like
it's it's
almost
the
every game
left
this year.
back is
Hmm.
really the only position where Pep will rotate.
Yeah, and that's only because like they basically cannot find a João Cancelo type, right? Like it's
Yeah,
this endless hunt. So, all right, I did want to pull up. Oh, here we go. Okay, here's a little bit of action. Nope,
Matoma to Gross.
snuffed out immediately. Oh, oh, it's back on.
We would be great. We should try to be commentators where we're just like, oh, whoop, whoop, whoop. That's a
Well,
little bit like
yeah,
Ray Hudson. He's always gasping
yeah,
right before something happens, which I find kind of grotesque. But it
yeah.
it is definitely not as easy as it looks to just make smart
No,
comments the entire match.
no, and I think that's why a lot of these announcers just say the person's name, right?
Yeah.
Or like I guess they don't.
Gross.
Yeah, exactly. Dunk, Verbruggen, Van Hack,
Okay, so do you?
Hinshelwood.
I mentioned one player's name when we saw Brighton at the Red Bull Stadium. Do you remember who that was? I said, Josh, this is the player to look out for. He's basically
Wait,
the one player who's been rotation proof from Deservia the last couple of months.
the one rotation is that and a Dingra?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Adingra.
yeah,
So, yeah, classic fantasy trap, right? Oh, he
yep,
plays. He looks good. He's
yep.
not really scoring any points. That's a problem. Uh,
He's picked up a couple assists. Didn't he have like a golden assist in a match recently or something like that? Um,
yes. Yeah, he had like a 10-pointer 2 game weeks ago or thereabouts. Now,
right.
Josh,
Yeah.
looking at the screen, can
Hmm.
you pinpoint exactly where you and I were sat last month?
Oh wow, that's a great question. I think we're basically straight on, right? Like, aren't we?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
were above the dugout, the Palace
yeah.
dugout. Yep.
Yeah. It was a pretty good. Yeah, do you want to talk about our Palace experience for a minute? That was a fun trip. So for anyone who's never been to Crystal Palace, you basically walk to oh, I just realized, by the way, sorry, let me share the link in the Discord just for anybody who hasn't seen it yet. Um so you get off, like we had to take like an above ground train to get
Yeah.
to Palace, right?
It was nice. Yeah, just to reiterate, and I feel like we've said it a million times, and thanks to everyone who recommended staying in the London Bridge area, we were able to get west to Stamford Bridge pretty easily, east to the London Stadium, and then south with the overground train. And it was more of a commuter rail, but it was really fast and pleasant and not crowded at all. Yeah, I think what was interpreted as a really sleepy walk from the train station to the ground was because we got there so early because we were taking in some hospitality.
Yeah.
So we got there well ahead of a lot of the home support. But once we
Yeah.
got to the ground, which was it
It's
it,
like,
it
I don't
felt
know, it was kind of weird, right?
it was
I didn't.
it didn't feel fully integrated
Yeah,
into the neighborhood like you see a lot of these Premier League or FA
like
stadiums. And
Fulham,
mhm,
Arsenal, not
yeah,
to just pick the two clubs that you and I
it
support,
was
but
it
yeah,
felt like it was kind of a prison in that there was these high walls kind of all around the ground, and it wasn't quite clear where a compound began and the stadium itself was. So that was curious.
yeah,
So it was not blindingly obvious how to get into the ground. So you of course approached the first security guards that we see, or like stewards, I should say. And we're at the age where we're done screwing around, wasting time. Let's just
Yes.
ask
Yeah.
somebody for help.
Yeah.
And
Exactly. I walked right up to the guy. It shook his hand.
I'm from America. How are
Yeah.
you?
Yeah. I could not have been more American the way that I walked
he
up there.
he was not expecting to help anybody that particular day, which was a problem for us. Um, so he said something that made no sense, and we kept walking. Eventually, found the entrance, and
Yeah, whatever he said, it was like no. What he said was, he's basically like that's closed, mate, or something like that. It's basically. It reminds me. There's a great story from when Brandon and I first moved to New York. We moved to New York independently, but within a very short amount of time of each other, like within a month or so. And both two guys from Michigan who didn't know what the heck we were doing. And so there was this one time though, you and I we were trying to go into a bar called Chumley's, and we were in the West Village, which is, New York in general is on a grid system and fairly easy to navigate, right? You can sort
yeah,
of, if you're between First Avenue and I don't know, like 10th Avenue, basically, all the way up to from Houston, which is kind of like zero, all the way
hmm
up to 220 or so. You pretty much can figure out where you're going, except for the West Village, which defies all logic. 10th Street cuts off in a
that was very
crazy
European. The West
direction.
Village.
Is very European, very, very annoying. Oh, no, thought we might have a little chance there. Matoma gave a run,
Now you've got Nathaniel
exercised his legs.
Klein playing right back. He's kind of an older veteran. He's
Yeah,
wise,
your boy.
Josh, but
Yeah.
can he keep up with Matoma? Want to watch? Watch that
Yeah.
matchup.
Is Klein the one who started the Champions League final for Chelsea like 10 years ago? Or is he the guy that I mistakenly thought started the
Nathaniel
Champions League
Klein came
final?
from Liverpool, or he went from
Right.
South. One of the many
Oh,
Southampton players
you
who
know,
went to Liverpool,
I'm thinking of
and
Ryan Bertrand.
yes, right.
Ryan Bertrand has started a Champions League final. Is that not crazy? That has nothing to do with anything.
Yeah,
I have started 5 stories and not finished any of them so far.
that's
So let
fine.
me all right, so let's get back to the West Village one quickly. So you and I were walking around trying to go to
I
Chumley's,
got to go hit the
and
comments during this. All right, keep going.
yeah. So we had to we walked over to Chumley's, and or we're trying to find our way there. And it was on one of these random streets. There's so many streets in the West Village that are like a block long. And this is pre-phone. You and I literally did not have cell phones, right? I'm sure we both
Mhm.
had like literally giant coats with discmen in our pockets. That was our like setup for meeting in the West Village.
Yep.
And so we said, "Hey, can you tell us where, whatever Mulberry Street is?"
Bedford.
Yeah, Bedford Street. Okay, I was just
Mhm.
I couldn't remember the name of the street. What Mulberry Street's, of course, in the uh,
It's
Lower
more
East Side.
Chinatown, Soho. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Soho, I suppose. Anyway, I said, "Can you tell us where Bedford Street is?" And he said, "Well, where do you think it is?" And I sort of pointed in the general direction, and he goes, "Not even close." And then what made it even more annoying was he then pointed like 9 degrees further from where I had pointed myself. It wasn't like he like turned around and I was in the opposite direction or something like that. Oh, we could have a yellow card here. I like that. I like it was just yellow. Me? Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, I'll
Okay.
take it. Yep.
Yep.
Made to
I didn't
order.
actually.
Oh, got
Actually, he
away with
didn't
it.
get a yellow there. Yeah, he got away with it. Wasn't even a foul. So I guess.
The
Yeah.
ref will want to keep his yellow cards. I think he's anticipating, like the rest of us, this match might need some more excitement come minute 60. So keep those yellow cards in your pocket for
Oh,
now.
we're 11 minutes in. We've kept the stories flowing. So, uh, David asked about the footy screen, right? So we get to Palace. We sit down. We have a waiter who has never waited tables ever, as far as I can tell. We sort of waited for like 10 minutes for the food, and then she's like, "Oh, what do you want?"
This is seriously like Mr. Bean goes to a Premier League match so far. This story.
I know, but you and I mean, we're kind of old hands at like going to Premier League match experience at this point, right? I don't think we were in the wrong here. Like we were
No,
just
no,
sort of
no.
mucking around, especially because the Chelsea experience the next day was kind of the total opposite, right? And so
Yes,
I
yes.
don't mean to
That
bag
that was
on
a we've been
Palace.
expecting you right this way.
Oh, Elise, nope,
Yeah, he's in. He's in.
bad, poor,
Mateta
weak.
is not bad,
Yeah.
but I don't think the timing was quite there with his run.
Yeah, and then IU just kind of didn't really do anything after that. There's some part of me I kind of can't believe this Palace team. It's like, for all this talk of the revolution that we were going to see, right when Vieira came in, and the new guard, and I
Hmm.
guess you have some of that on the pitch right now, but it still feels like, I don't know, like how modern can your team be if you've got Will Hughes out there, and I don't know,
They've
like
not.
it's
I mean,
Nathaniel Klein.
yeah, they've done really well with certain players, right? Like Eze
Right.
and Elise,
When
and when you
healthy.
had Zaha
Yeah.
out there,
Yep. Yeah.
that was just like electric attack. But they have made no good signings in the midfield.
Yeah.
I mean, Lakanga, he came from Arsenal, right? And he's not been good at all. Um,
Jack, we did ultimately find Bedford Street. No thanks to that guy. I think we just
yeah,
wandered around hopelessly. But the
yeah,
thing about Chumley's too, at least the original Chumley's, is that it was a speakeasy. Like, it was like one of those, like, it was like a fake speakeasy, right? Because prohibition was
sure,
had been outlawed, but
yeah,
it was a fake speakeasy where you had to kind of like knock on the door to get in. So
yeah.
not only was it like an obscure restaurant, but you had to know exactly how to get there. I mean, we did have the address, of course,
We
but
might have
it was
bit
a
off more than we could chew
we
in that
did.
moment.
We
But
did.
much like Vieira's reign at Crystal Palace, Chelsea,
Yeah,
Chumley's, the chimney collapsed in it a couple years later,
that's true. That's
and it
true.
never reopened.
I
So
remember
you
having a
cannot go
nice
to Chumley's
I remember
now.
having a nice meal there, thinking it was
Yeah,
kind of a
great burger.
fun. The thing about a lot of these old New York places is they end up being a little more white tablecloth than you think they're going to be. Right. The Ear Inn is kind of like this too, where you're sort of like, Ear Inn's one of the oldest bars in New York, and when you think about that in your head, I sort of think all of them. I expect all of them to be kind of like McSorley's. McSorley's is a pretty. Some people listening might have been to McSorley's before, because it's like a classic, one of the oldest bars in New York, right? Super old bar, and it's like all dark wood, and you walk up and they have like two kinds of beer, right? Light and dark, and you can just get like a bunch of pints of light and a bunch of pints of dark brought to you, or whatever you may want. All these like little half pints. But a lot of these other places, like the old Chumleys, like the Ear End, were like kind of fancy, right? Because like at some point, the only people who went there are tourists. So they sort of became slightly nicer place. And suddenly you're like, well, I'm going to this old 300-year-old dive bar. And you're kind of expecting a dive bar experience. And instead you're like sitting down at a white tablecloth restaurant and spending like $47 on like a mediocre steak, right? Like it's not exactly the kind of fun New York dive experience that you're looking for.
Yeah, the food. This is like the Food Network now. Uh, I love this.
Hey,
Who's
I
the
I,
who's the
I mean,
who's the
listen, the FPL deadline's over. There's really no. I don't want to talk about my game week 19 team yet.
Oh yeah, yeah. Let's talk about our
Yeah,
moves. You
yeah.
were saying you were about to maybe make a -12. Just rip it all up.
Well, hold the phone there, Brandon,
Mm,
because yeah, that is FPL wannabe notes that 300 years old is barely history. By European standards, that's true. By American standards, that's like the oldest stuff we've got, right? Like
sure, it's like
post
pre-America.
Columbus. Oh, okay, we've got a little move here. We might have to talk the actual match for 1 second. Matoma's got the
God,
ball
Pascal
out
Gross
left.
is always in the 6 yard box these days.
I
Very
know
interesting player.
it's like it's like he's doing the Solly March thing that happened last year, right? Where Solly March was this kind of centralish midfielder who suddenly started, like, Solly March being reinvented as a killer right winger is like a shocking turn of events, right?
Hmm.
Like for years and
Yes.
years and years, at least fantasy wise, for years and years and years, he was just some dude, you know.
Hmm.
Oh, nice. Okay. Oh no, we got a little bit of ball kicking around, and it's been cleared. So low drama there. The Nick Checkman asked about the best burgers in New York City. Um, I would say, well, you know what? The burger I actually want the most is Shake Shack. I mean, that's like a really boring answer. I think the Minetta Tavern is probably the best fancy burger that I really love in New York.
Hmm.
I mean, the corner burger to me is overrated. It's like it's
Corner
fine,
at the
but
corner bistro.
the corner bistro burger, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That one's more of a um, it's more of a meat and potatoes,
Hmm.
for lack of a better sort of
Yeah.
term, burger. The
You
burger
love
at
the
JG
you
Mellon
JG
is
Melon.
legit. Yeah.
That's right. That's kind of smaller, right? Isn't like the melon one kind of like
It's
a
like
like a
a
small
it's like a
burger?
softball. Um,
Yeah. Okay.
and if you're a big biter, you're gonna down that in like four bites. But
Yeah.
it's thick and
Okay.
delicious. Yeah.
I am in general a smash burger guy, which is not the one at Midnight Tavern is not a smash burger. That's a gigantic burger,
Mm-hmm.
like a big pile of caramelized onions. And like if you describe that burger to me, I would not tell you that I enjoyed it, but I actually think it's perfect. It's an incredible burger. Yeah, I actually don't know. I know I've had the PJ Clark's burger before. Oh, we have a big chance for Brighton
And
shot
that's
rebounds
a big
and
throw.
oh, a little side footer there. Who's number 20? That's
Bob,
uh
somebody like Bob Bobley, Bob
yeah,
Babala,
Carlos Baleba.
Baleba.
I
Yeah.
yeah. I actually don't know who Carlos Baleba is. So
I mean,
I
we're
love
a little
yeah.
Etsy here. I was confusing Jefferson Lerma with Sammy Lakanga earlier, so that's fine. That's fine.
Okay. Yeah. I think we're okay not knowing Baleba. He's like every Brighton lineup is required by law to have one player that no one's ever heard of before. So that's what we've got.
Keeps them interesting.
Yeah, it keeps it interesting. Exactly. Any other burgers? Are there any good Brooklyn burgers? That place James that closed down used to have a pretty good
James
burger.
had burger night. That was, like some bars have trivia night or ladies' night just to keep things
Yep.
interesting on Mondays and Tuesdays. And James did burger night, which was delicious. There was one on Flatbush at a place called Roses where they cooked them on a wood-fired grill, which
Right.
I thought were delicious. And
Nice
they
ball out to
took
Matoma out
no
left. Get to it.
alterations. Order the burger. It comes with mayo. Cheese was optional.
Yep.
And it was pickle mayo. You couldn't order it without mayo or without pickles. And I liked the sort of confidence with which they
Well, you
served that
used
burger.
to pre-COVID. You had a thing that you might honestly still be doing it if it weren't for COVID. Where on Friday evenings you would go by yourself to this. Was it Roses? That was the place, right?
Yes, it was
Yeah,
roses. I think people can relate to this, like to have something on
the
your
spot, of
calendar, whether
course.
it's weekly or monthly, where you just get to be alone.
Hmm.
I feel
But
like
yeah,
that's important for your own mental sanity.
I'd love to be alone. Yeah, I absolutely. Yeah,
I'm gritting my teeth while doing this with you right now.
the Emily burger, I actually think is disgusting. I think it's too. It's. Remember that time we all had Emily burgers together, and
Remind me what
like
Emily is?
like Pizza by Emily, like Emmy
Oh, yeah,
Square
yeah, yeah.
Emily.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, it's too much. Like it's too
It's a
drippy.
lot.
It's
It's
yeah.
yeah,
It's
it's
yeah.
yeah, I don't like, and as somebody who wears a thick mustache, if you've got a really juicy something,
Yeah.
you're just going through like hundreds of napkins, and nobody wants that. I'm ruining napkins.
I Adingra's hair. It would be really cool if that was actually a birthmark and not like I don't know if that's a like a style
Like a
thing.
Rasheed Wallace sort of a thing.
Yeah, well my wife, she's got the gray, like she's got my wife has a streak of gray in the front of
Mhm.
her hair and that is not a style thing. That's just how she has a birthmark that like that colors the hair there.
Yeah, everyone's got, cool birthmarks. Some people just, they're in inappropriate places, Josh, that we
Yeah,
can't talk
that's
about.
that's true. That's true.
I actually have one like right above the butt crack.
Really?
Uh, yeah, it looks kind of like the continent of Australia for all of our Australian friends.
No,
Think about that.
have you been told this, or like was this like you did take a mirror one day
I can't
and get
resist.
in there?
Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
not one night, but periodically I have to check in on it. And
Just make sure it's not gotten to be the size of Asia or
yeah,
Antarctica.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
If the opera house has gotten any larger, then I need to go see a dermatologist, basically.
I like, by the way, I've got this quarter zip on today, which makes me feel like I feel like Peyton Manning right now, like the Manning cast. Are you familiar
Okay.
with this? The Manning
Yeah,
cast,
they do
Brandon?
the alternative that they do a
Yeah,
live watch, much like what we're doing right now. But
they do exactly.
did, do they talk about burgers?
Sometimes they don't talk about football very much. I'll tell you that, which I'm fine with. I don't know.
Yeah.
It turns out just watching the match and have people talk about like almost anything else
Well,
is
yeah.
really it's
Imagine,
pretty fine.
imagine you're in a living room with a friend or anywhere. Well, Let's imagine. Let's
Let's
keep
keep
it
it
in
to
the
living
living room.
room. Okay, that
Yeah.
sounds good. Yeah,
Are
good
you
policy.
what percentage of the time are you actually talking about the game that we're all meant to be watching on the TV?
I would say 25%. I mean, it would have to be quite a good game for. And also, okay, it kind of depends on your friends, right? Like, I had a friend, our friend Kevin came over on Saturday to watch the Detroit Lions game, and he is an old friend, somebody I've known for a long time, who, I know through work. He is a big. We ended up talking about football a lot, like much more than I was expecting. Like a why, not necessarily the game itself, but just football generally. And
Sure, with the state of the game, the state of
yeah,
play.
it was a test of my knowledge in some ways, right? Because for sitting down and talking the Premier League, I feel pretty confident I got a good handle of what's going on. But yeah, I don't have to bluff too much. But when it comes to the NFL, I'm at the edge of my every conversation. I was dancing along the edge of my knowledge, just and I also don't know quite how much he knows either, right? And so it's like there's a little bit of like because you've also seen this. You ever like been at a bar, like a sports bar, and heard two people talking next to you? This actually happened to me on Friday when I was at the Black Horse watching a match. These two guys got behind me, and they were very cheerful American dudes. No issue with them at all. They're very loud. Okay, so I had slight issue with them being loud because it was distracting. But they were just talking very loudly and very confidently about Spurs, right? About Tottenham Hotspur, Brandon.
Uh-huh.
And it was pretty clear that they became fans within the last like 4 months, right? Like,
Uh-huh.
but just they had very, very strong opinions, and they both kind of equally had strong opinions, right? So it was sort of
Mhm.
like hearing these two people who didn't really know what they were talking about talk incredibly confidently, but it was like kind of fun because it was like they were at their level, right? It's
Yeah.
like it's all good when you're at the same level as the other person, right? It's the problem is when somebody knows a lot and the other person doesn't know a lot,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And even then it's kind of okay if they're asking you questions or
Sure,
whatever.
if you like to explain stuff to people, that's a great situation to be in.
Exactly. I don't mind being interviewed, for example. So
Yeah, it is kind of annoying when you get that creep of whether they know what they're talking about or not, the blowhard nature of some people in a sports bar
yes.
and the loudness I find very annoying. Um, or the person, how about this? You're at the bar and the stranger next to you just decides he's going to talk to you about what he sees on the screen. Um, Maybe you're inviting that because you go to a public place.
I think you get more than that than me. I don't think I seem like the kind of person who people want to talk to. I think I look a little too intense or something. Um, I rarely get somebody who wants to talk to me at the bar. And if they do, I feel like it never turns into anything.
Yeah,
I'm shutting that thing down. Whereas you've got that big beard, kind of grandpa kind of look to you.
I got
Like it
hard
looks like
candy in my pocket that I'm offering
yeah,
people.
exactly. When you sit down at the bar, it looks like this is your bar that you possibly own, right? That you're sort of like,
I think I
yeah,
told you this story once. I was having lunch back when I worked at Penguin down in the West Village, and it was sleepy lunches. And there was this bar I would go to get a sandwich and a beer, and I was the only one there. Sat at the bar. This guy comes in. You ever at a bar and the liquor salesman comes in to talk to the bar staff to get them to like push a certain drink or talk to the owner to see if he wants
sure,
to buy a
sure.
case of something. And this
Yep.
guy was the save by steal.
Okay.
Way to go, Mateta. Get in there. Let's get some action going.
Yeah, we're getting some excitement here. Finally.
So this particular guy comes into this bar where I'm just sat alone, and he's selling what do you call it? It's that cinnamon liquor, Fireball.
Fireball.
Uh
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
and he just asks me, hey, so do you work here? And I told him, no, I don't. I'm the owner, actually. Uh
Mhm.
and he started then giving me this whole sales pitch, and at that point I had this realization of, well, at some point I have to tell him that I'm not the owner, and I really don't know what to say next without maybe doing something illegal.
Right,
uh
right. Yeah, you're like, you can't make a buy here, right? Like, or sign. Yeah,
I
and
don't
next
think
thing you know,
so.
you're signing like off like a shipment of like 10 cases.
Just write on a napkin a little like IOU. So like, I'm the owner. That's as good as gold around here. So don't worry about it. I got you.
Who
So
doesn't want to be a
pretty.
regular, yeah, anywhere? I heard a line recently about owning a bar that was I think it was Ryan Russillo, who is like I don't know Bill Simmons like partner in crime for better or worse, but he was talking about he said the thing about owning a bar is that everybody wants to own a bar, and then the thing is the beauty of it is that by the time you can afford to own a bar, you no longer want to own a bar anymore or something like that. It's
Yeah,
basically
right.
like the
Yeah.
dream. Everyone has the same dream of owning a bar. By the time you can actually afford it, you don't want to do it anymore because it's like, yeah, like I don't know about you, staying up till 4 a.m. every. I don't know. You have to. I mean, you get closing New York. Like New York's open late. You have to be like a total night owl, right?
But
For
then
one thing.
here's the
Yeah.
thing, then you have to actually hire people to do that job for you, and then you have to
Right.
basically deal with trust.
First yell of the match.
To
Mateta,
who?
your
Oh,
boy.
Mateta, my boy. Yeah, he officially is my boy status during this Pure Watch.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, you hear horror stories about trying to hire for bars, and
Oh yeah.
you just kind of it invites all elements.
Oh, I just think it's the turnover isn't that seems kind of stressful too. Like just there's a restaurant like a micro restaurant chain near me called Pasta Louise, and they're actually taking over a bar on Seventh Avenue too, Brandon, like Seventh
Okay,
and First Street. So the next time you're out this way, well, it might be open by then. We can go visit it.
fantastic.
But yeah, but they
Well, they
have
call it Bar Louise.
I think it is going to be called Bar Louise.
Nice.
Yes. Yeah. So they have a cafe and a restaurant, and cafe is like where they do like the takeout stuff and all that. But they have coffee and whatever there. But the cafe space still has the kind of the COVID holdover, like the outdoor tables, the walled off
Yeah, like
shed
the
kind of
build
thing.
out auxiliary seating. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And that auxiliary sheeting spills out onto my street in my neighborhood. And I would say that virtually every single day I see the same two or three managers out there
Hmm.
basically interviewing somebody for a job. Like they are more or less constantly having to hire new people. And it seems like a great place to work, right? It's just like nobody stays at these jobs. And maybe they shouldn't. Like I don't know. Maybe you don't want to be a server for 45 years. I'm not
Or
saying
in
there's
New
any
York,
judgment,
there's
but
so
it's
many
a
server
stressful thing.
jobs, right, that you can just
Chase the
leapfrog
money.
and continue to make more money. And if you're
Yeah,
good, I mean, people can make a really good living in major metropolitan areas being servers. So,
yeah,
really, I'm always fascinated when you go to a higher end restaurant and you encounter those food service people who've made a career of it and seem to do pretty well
yeah.
and really good
Oh,
at it.
like the guy at the 21 Club we met once, who was the Manning family's personal waiter.
Oh, exactly,
What happened to that
incredible
guy?
stuff.
The 21 Club closed. I hope he probably graduated to like the Grill or something like that, right? He's got to be kicking around.
Yeah, or he like moved out to Montauk or something like that and is
Yeah.
now working some seasonal restaurant out there. Yeah, the Mannings are all over this stream. I love it.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
true. Yeah. We got another yellow here. Okay, hold on. I missed the yellow. Let's see. This is not a descent yellow. This feels like a real one. Oh boy.
Baleba,
My boy.
Baleba.
Both of our boys have been fouled early on.
Sure.
That
Boy,
seems
you
troublesome.
know what they say. The referee really didn't belabor that yellow card adjudication, did he? It was
No,
rather
it
quick,
didn't.
wasn't it?
All right. While we're waiting for this free kick to happen, Taylor Ferguson says, "I'm considering waking up at 4:30 a.m. Pacific Savings Time. No, Standard Time, right? Yeah, it's Standard Time, Pacific Standard Time for Leeds versus Ipswich. This feels
Is
like
this
a safe
podcast
space.
making us dumber? I'm not sure.
I think so. You can't talk this much and keep your brain cells. This feels like a safe space to ask if I have a problem. Um, yeah, I would not wake up at 4:30 for a championship match unless
Well, yeah.
I would have to
Who
have a
is
lot of money on that game.
Yeah,
Yeah,
who's your club, Taylor? Put in the chat who your club is, because if you have any vested interest in the championship, that could be an incredible match. I mean, Ipswich is the forum
that's
team
true.
next to Leicester City, so
I
um,
know. I think it'd be fun if Ipswich came up. That would be
me
a
too.
first for you and me. We have not had
Hmm.
Ipswich in since we've been since we've been doing the pod at least. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So
So I don't know
Norwich
how
has been up
closely
like 9 times, up and
you've
down nine
been
times.
following this Leicester City campaign right now. Do you know who the best player on Leicester is right now?
Isn't it Dewsbury Hall?
That's right. Yeah, he's gonna
Yeah.
be. We're gonna have to talk
Oh,
about him.
okay. That would look like there might possibility of a goal, some action in the box. In the end, nothing happened, and Verbruggen,
Oh
the
yeah,
dust man,
he
swept
has a
up.
similar weird haircut to Jason Steele. They both go to the same incompetent barber.
Oh, the question from Ed4DY3. Brandon is not in Canada yet. Brandon is at his upstate New York shack. Although, as you can see behind you, it's clearly not a shack. It's a nice place. But you're upstate, which is like I mean you're like 3.5 hours north of.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm in like rural central New York right
yeah,
now. It's like total farmland, and all of our neighbors up here are all 60 years old plus
yeah.
and
During the
collect
pandemic,
Social
yeah, you're
Security.
in real. During the pandemic, a lot of people got places 1.5 or 2 hours north, and you guys went all in, going the 4 hours. You're actually like it was actually a good experience for moving to Canada. Really, you're kind
Hmm.
of yeah.
Yeah, it
Got
got
a
us
little more
closer.
action.
The air is slightly more Canadian up here, so we're acclimating. It's like going to train for an Ironman in Hawaii.
Anderson just swept up there. You Joaquim Anderson. He had a moment, didn't he, in fantasy this year?
He did, yeah. He
Yeah,
was when we did our Kings of the Game Week after Game Week 8, I think it was. He was in virtually every week, and he's been nowhere close ever
yeah.
since.
Even further north of the Catskills, Modest Bukowski.
Yeah,
It's
if you know where the
Cooperstown.
Cooperstown, yeah, the Baseball Hall of Fame, kind of in more in that general area.
Yeah,
It's
it's
one of those, like imagine going back to the Mannings. Like imagine playing catch with Peyton Manning, and Manning just goes, "Go deep," and you run
yeah.
back and you turn around, and you're like, "Here," and he's like, "No, go deeper, go farther," and you turn, you run more, and you're like, "Here," and he's like, "No, keep going." That's basically how you get to my house.
I meant to send you before you left, or give you a copy of, like all these Richard Russo books are about that part of New York, this like kind of a northern. Anyone in the chat who's from anywhere that's like a small town, either in England or oh oh. See, okay, I'm not realizing how hard it is to do commentary because
Oh,
I
a
just want
little
to say
bit.
ooh instead of actually relaying what just
Oh,
happened there.
ah,
Yeah,
ah.
shots.
Shots, many
Yeah,
shots, all none of them good, I would
yeah.
say.
I need to print out
Yeah.
I'm gonna print out the team sheet next time too, so I can get the numbers right. Yeah,
If you pull up FootMob, they've got a good visualization with
yeah. Let me
numbers
do
of
that
the
on my
lineup,
phone
so
here.
that will help.
Good idea.
Just Nick, no, we Josh and I have a good friend who lives in Kingston. It's a wonderful, wonderful place, but that's east and a little south of me. It's like a 2-hour drive to Kingston from where I am, and the issue up here is there are no freeways that really anything. So it's like getting from one isolated French village to another one. Uh, that's why it takes so long to get everywhere.
So, but you guys, you plan to still go up there sometimes, right? It's sort of
Yeah,
but
and so this house is 5 hours from where we're going to be in Toronto. So given that we've been used to a 3.5 hour drive, it's not a crazy possibility that we'll spend time here. And I'm able to work fully remote now, so I can potentially just come pop down here and work for a couple of weeks and
yeah.
live off the land like my
I'm not sure.
ancestors.
I'm not sure we've even talked about the Canada thing on the main feed pod. I feel like it's pretty much a
Yeah, that's a
it's
Patreon
Patreon
exclusive.
exclusive sort of thing. Well, it's sort of like I guess it was hard to bring up, right? It always I don't know. This last pod, I think our last couple we've had a little like end of year. I
Yeah.
think it'll be a good reset. I think our energy's been a little bad. The whole situation with the match being delayed, it was just I don't know. I feel like we probably lost another handful of managers, right? It's been kind of a I don't know. It feels like it has not been an awesome season for like the popular transfers each week, right? Like
Yeah.
it's sort of I don't
Well,
know.
that's it. It's sort of like tune in each week to listen to Josh and Brandon chat about their game weeks and set the table. But the real connective tissue week to week is tune in, see who our picks are, tune in the next week so we can celebrate our victory.
Yeah.
and there's been no pod to pod victories
Yeah.
recently that we can really
Yeah,
lean
they
into.
feel minor, right? It's
Mhm.
like, yeah. So we need to, which I would say has not historically been true. I think normally, but again, I think you see it across the board, right? Because you just see a ton of people who are in the like experienced manager. I'm not saying that everyone's having a bad year. I mean, some people in our mini leagues and I was in the Super League and the Patreon League are doing great. It is a year where there are a lot of people who
Ooh, slip him in.
I wonder if it's a management style thing or I don't even know quite what it is, right? I mean, I'm willing to concede that we've just made. I'm very willing to concede that I've made some bad decisions this year. I
Yeah.
mean, good gracious, like plenty.
Well, yeah, we certainly both have. It's I think that the struggle this season has simply boiled down to these match weeks have been very hard to predict. Even
Yeah,
Manchester City, even while Arsenal are winning most of their games, they are not scoring as many goals.
yeah.
So the fantasy decision making becomes even more highly calibrated. And it's just been a struggle. You make
Ooh,
one
Will
good
Hughes
decision
interception.
and you have to follow it up with another excellent decision, or you'll just lose that ground that you got that last
Ooh,
week. So,
that was
um,
poor.
oh yeah, come on, do a little better here, Palace.
Yeah, I
They're
wanted
they're
to.
running at
Yeah,
Brighton. This is a fairly evenly matched game. Interested, put in the chat if you feel like everything's in the balance, or I guess Brighton have had the slightly better of it. Maybe I don't know. I
yeah.
don't know
I
if
would.
that's true.
Gosh, I mean, I don't know that either one has really been able to get any kind of edge in this
Okay,
match so
so
far.
just pulling off a foot mob here. Brighton has 56% possession. XG is 0.83 to Crystal Palace. So that's incredible for them just in the first
Yeah. Do we
40
miss
minutes of
that many
teams.
good chances? There's
I
like that
think
scramble in the box, but
yeah, I guess like they didn't look clear cut just because there was a defender standing clearly in the way of every one of those
ooh,
shots.
there was okay.
Pascal,
There was a nice
woo,
chance.
that ball was knuckling hardcore too.
It was
Brighton with a 0.116 xG. Uh,
point,
point
not
one
one point. Yeah,
six,
0.16. Yeah,
point
that
one
makes sense.
six to Palace's 0.83.
Should be a little higher now, I would think, after
What do you
that
think? Dean
chance.
Henderson is back. But for how long? He looked like he did his groin immediately, like last weekend.
Yeah, it kind of snuck up on me actually. Was just looking at that a minute ago. This is the first match he's played for Palace so far this season, right? Has he played any other matches for them?
He played in the last match, I
Oh, did he? Okay,
believe.
so it's the last
Yeah,
two.
this might
Okay.
be his second match.
Man, Johnstone has a player fallen so quickly. Like there was a moment 6 weeks ago where Johnston seemed like maybe the only keeper worth owning in fantasy, and it all went. What's that expression you like, Brennan? Pear shaped.
It's
The
gone
one you
pear
love.
shaped. Yeah,
Yeah, you
tits
use that
up.
constantly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
it
yeah,
does feel
I guess
pretty crazy
Dean
with him.
Henderson somehow, just because he played at Manchester United at some point, has some sort of cachet and gets to play whenever he's fit. He's good. He's a good keeper, but if I'm Johnstone is injured, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see, is he on the bench? I'm kind of like talking out of my yeah, he's injured. So I wonder if Johnstone gets back in when he's back from a quote leg injury.
I
No one
don't
comes
know.
back from a leg injury.
I think this is Henderson's chance
Hmm.
to stake a claim. I think he's done well so far. The stuff that makes a keeper exceptional though is like in some ways it can be kind of hard to tell. Like unless you're like Ederson, the fact that Ederson is like wants to be a midfielder, right? It's like that makes him very easy to kind of notice on the pitch. But I think a lot of times, like with these kind of mid-table clubs or below, you can't really tell. At least I'm not very good at being able to gauge like distribution and stuff like that, right? And like how much they like start the attack out of the back. It's like I'm just not watching enough Crystal Palace
Yeah.
week in and week out to be like, oh, or like Steele versus Verbruggen, right? It's
Hmm.
like I don't know, it's like you can sort of see them like like make stops, right? And you're like, well, I know that Kelly Steele is a great shot stopper. He seems like he's a pretty good passer. Verbruggen, is he does he command his box a little bit better possibly? Like it's these little things that I feel like are kind of hard to gauge unless you're really watching closely.
Very much so. And I think it's really peculiar how there are more keeper sort of rotations than ever in the Premier League. You've got Raya and Ramsdale. Well, they're not really rotating, to be fair. And now you got Matt Turner and his situation at Nottingham Forest. The name
Yep.
of his competitor escapes me.
Yep.
You potentially Johnstone and Henderson when Johnstone is back fit. And
Yeah.
with
Onana versus anyone who might be good,
yeah, right. Anyone with two legs. Which is looking at Raya and Ramsdale. I don't feel like Arsenal has benefited from this. It's like you're putting undue pressure on these keepers to perform. And the mentality of a keeper is fundamental
Ooh,
to their success. I would say,
nice
"Ooh,
little
nice
side.
nice move here from
That's nice.
Brighton."
Not bad. I mean, Brighton do just look better, I would say, just in general.
Yeah,
I'm
they
feeling,
seem
yeah.
to they just have a fuller team of ballers. The pressure on Raya has cost Arsenal a couple of points this season.
Yeah. Were you listening to the second captain's discussion earlier this week about Emi Martinez and how Martinez really wanted to stay with Arsenal? And
Yeah.
Arteta was like, he's like, I need to know that I'm the guy, basically. And Arteta was like, well, I can give you a 95% assurance.
It's like an Oppenheimer when they're like, "We're not going to set the atmosphere on fire, are we?" And they're like, "Well, there's a 99.9% chance that we won't."
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly. Yeah. He's like,
okay.
well,
Well,
he's like, what do you want? It's science. He's like, well, I want it to be zero. Um, but I don't know. I mean, it's sort of, it is, I don't know. It seems like Emmy should be at a slightly bigger club, possibly, but there's a long history of great keepers not necessarily being at the world's best club, right? It's not so uncommon. Look at your boy Rob Green, for example. He was at West Ham. Uh,
QPR.
yeah, QPR.
Yeah, I mean Aston Villa, you better check yourself there. Almost it looks assured of a top 4 spot this
That's true.
season.
At the time, though, at the time they were
Yes.
like, "Oh, there's a goal." Oh my goodness gracious!
You got Jordan
Is
Ayew there?
it Jordan Ayew,
Yeah.
Mister Nine, the number nine
Oh,
himself?
Mr. USA Chris Richards is in the mix.
Yeah, that is an American, isn't it? I
Yay!
yeah, there we go, Richards. I love it. Nice goal too. Let's see what happens here.
Let's
Some
watch it unfold in instant
overpassing
replay.
here.
Pascal Gross. Is it down to
Um,
Verbruggen? Yep.
it is kind of down to Verbruggen.
I'm sure if we were listening to the commentary, they would be losing their mind about
Uh,
the modern game.
didn't close down IU at all. Had so much space there. I'm sure we are a little behind some people. We're probably behind some people and ahead of other people, right?
Yeah.
Because it's
I
the
think this
streaming age is a
yeah.
mess in that regard.
I think the stream is the streaming of the game is one thing. I think the YouTube live stream puts us a little farther behind as well.
Does
But
it? Okay. Okay.
assist for Michael Elise. I feel like he's a pick
Didn't
if
we
Crystal Palace can
on the
start.
hot take pod? Didn't I say he would be the highest scoring Palace
I
player
think you
through the
did.
festive
I
fixtures?
think you
Yeah.
did.
So some of those predictions have actually looked pretty good, I would say. I think Zinchenko as the highest scoring Arsenal defender, that one
Hmm.
even has a chance still. He's had some moments. Still picking up the bonus points. They hadn't lost. They lost a clean sheet late in a match, and that knocked him down, I think, from 12 to 5. And so if it weren't for that, he'd be even higher. Oh, this little nothing. Nice little attempt there.
Anderson just cleaning it up like a boss.
Yep, exactly. Your boy. Actually, no, you're a Gahey guy. Well, you're not anymore. I mean, Gahey could not have worked out worse for you. That was a
I'm the opposite of
classic.
a Gahey boy. I'm a
Yeah,
no more.
out there at the right
I
time.
settled in with my box of popcorn at
Hmm.
Selhurst Park, and I was ready to watch my clean sheet.
Yep.
And it was, right as you took your seat, uh, my clean sheet got wiped out. It was bad.
Yeah, yeah, I didn't even look at you for those first 2 minutes. I was like, don't try to console him. He won't like that. Um, All right, we are officially at halftime now. That flew by. I gotta say that went by pretty quick. Our first ever live stream.
Yeah, what was your favorite moment from that half, Josh? Was it some
Oh
intricate passing on Brighton, like the things that the
yeah,
normal viewer wouldn't catch?
yeah. What did my jeweler's eye pick up as I
Mhm.
inspected it through my pince nez? I what did I mean, there wasn't a lot to like. I liked the goal. I thought that was well taken. I would say in general they did look a little sharper in the final third, and I don't quite understand what's happening with Brighton right now. They're not really able to kind of, I don't really know. It's like there's a lack of it's like you were saying at the start of this recording. Like, are they just rotating too much? Like
Yeah. You
it just
can't get a
feels
rhythm going,
inconsistent.
and
Yeah,
I think Pep's system is so ingrained into City, um,
yeah,
at this point, and De Zerbi, I don't think he's had I mean, obviously, he has not had that level of impact at Brighton, so to just think that he can bring in any players,
yeah.
to do what he wants, I think is naive.
I mean, Joe Pedro starting today. I can't think of a single thing he did in the first half of that match. Can you? Like, I was actually
He almost
surprised
won a
for a minute.
foul at the top of the box, I think, but I think, yes, I agree with you, the larger story is missed opportunities, and he just
Yeah,
wasn't fast enough, and you gotta have at some point, you just have to beat a man or see a pass,
yeah,
when you have the ball, and he just seemed to have his back to goal the entire match or the
yeah.
entire half.
I think Palace acquitted themselves pretty well. I saw Eze's on the bench for today's match too. By the way, I saw, so
Yeah,
that's an
he came
encouraging
on as a
sign.
sub last game week, so it's good to see him back fit. I mean, it's Crystal Palace creaking back to life. Got a fit
Yep,
Dean Henderson, Eze
yep,
coming back. They just need
yep,
Eduard back healthy.
yep. And then there'll be, yeah. I mean, this is the problem is they lack a, I don't know. Maybe Eze can turn into that player. It feels like they. Well, I don't know. The Eze that we saw in that Palace match was fantastic, right? That was Eze at his best.
The
It
best
just,
player, yes,
yeah,
agreed.
yeah. It just Eze, Jared Bowen. Those are the two that really shine those first couple days that we were there. And then the Chelsea Man City match was a little different because there were so many players performed well in that one. It was
Yeah.
kind of hard to pick just one. But in those two, in the West Ham match and the Palace match, that was um, yeah. Well, now that it's halftime, let's see if there's any questions that we missed here in the comments, Brandon.
Yes.
Yeah, let's see. The whole he's good with his feet. Yeah, I feel the same way. It's sort of I do sort of understand what it means, um, but it does feel like it just feels like it's a skill that not a lot of people are really excel at. The ability to actually do something productive with your feet, right? Like
You
the
remember
yeah.
this Onion headline, hottest girl at Star Trek convention? Actually not that hot. I feel like
You just
that
referenced this again. So it's like your second reference to this in like 2 weeks.
I think that's like saying, when you say keepers are good with their feet, like Ederson wants to be a midfielder. If he was in the midfield, he would be exposed as like a
Yeah,
terrible footballer. It's like,
yeah, yeah.
I guess another analogy would be, Ringo Starr or drummers in the band. Like, I really want to be in the band, but I'm not talented. So, what instrument is nobody currently playing? What
Hmm.
position on the pitch is currently not filled?
I don't know if I can abide by this Ringo slander. By the way, he's a very important member of the band, Brandon.
Yeah, I'm not here to pick apart the legacy of Ringo Starr, but I think the point I make, no one would argue that he's the least talented, in the band.
No, I think he is the
Argue against
least
that, I should say.
talented. No, no, I would say yes. Ringo Starr is the least talented member of the Beatles, but still quite talented. If he was,
Sure,
I
and I'm
mean,
not.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm not saying that Ederson is not a talented goalkeeper. I guess what I'm saying is Ederson is not gonna. I don't know. He's not gonna be Bernardo Silva if you put him on the right wing, which I guess is pretty
No,
much stating the obvious. But
no, that's true. Could he beat
Calvin
Ryan?
Phillips.
Yeah, I was gonna say, could he beat Nathaniel Klein on the wing?
Yeah, well, that would be an incredible January signing if Crystal Palace signed, Ederson to be their new right back.
Oh, yeah, that would be. I mean, I wonder if maybe he ends his career doing something like that. He sort of he goes to, um, I don't know, one of these like Flamingo or something like that. And just
Sure.
spends a year as a midfielder forward for Flamingo.
Give us some more
We know he's good at pens, right? This is on record.
We're
So
told. We're
yeah,
told. Has anyone actually seen one taken by Ederson?
yeah. Can Ederson play midfield in the MLS?
The
100%.
ultimate,
Yeah,
the ultimate litmus test. Could he beat the
yeah.
U.S. women's national team?
Yeah, he is okay. Yeah, it's all right. Fine. He's good with his feet for a keeper. All right, let's see if there's anything else that we've missed here. This truly, as Ian, as Stimmy said, it is the purest of pure watches, Brandon. Although I'm actually kind of glad. Sometimes when we're watching these games, if I've got too much fantasy on the line, I'm not really enjoying myself. Right? There's too much stress. A
Yeah.
match like this, I genuinely don't care what happens. 0-0, 4-4
Oh yeah.
does
When
not
we
matter.
walk into the Black Horse for game week 38, it is the exact scene from Rain Man where Tom Cruise
Yeah.
takes Dustin Hoffman into the casino.
Yeah, it's
It's
true. I'm red zoning from that morning on. Did Dave actually come for 38 this last year? I think he did, right? I mean, it wasn't
Maybe
this year; it
have.
was the year before. We'll have to check with him about that. But
Well,
it's
I'm looking to make a return from Toronto for game week 38. So mark your calendars, cheaters.
excellent. Yeah, I don't know. Did you have any takeaways from the first half of that match? Anything stand out to
I
you?
I I guess my takeaway is how Roy Hodgson's demise was prematurely, I guess, predicted.
Yep.
This Palace, like the
Again
last,
and again and again.
yeah, I mean, the Man City result definitely inflates that, but I do think it's true that we've seen them pick up their level of organization and like literal desire to actually be competitive in matches. So it bodes really well for Palace, and this is the exact right time to do it. If they can pick up a lot of points during the festive period, then they just totally excise themselves from the relegation battle. So
Yeah.
I think is Palace look great. Overstated. The takeaway is Palace look like they'll be fine, and Roy Hodgson will survive
Yeah.
to have. He'll be able to walk into the sunset at the end of the season. I mean, do you think that there's any chance if Palace finish in a comfortable 15th place that Roy Hodgson wants to stay on for another season?
I think he might just stay on as long as they let him. I feel like this is I the older I get, the more the idea of retiring gracefully or kind of doing anything
Yeah.
without someone forcing you to do it is
Mhm.
sort of I don't know if I totally buy it anymore. It seems like it's like maybe especially living in New York where nobody retires ever. It seems like they
Well,
just
yeah,
they just
that's
keep
it.
working. And for some people it's a necessity. I realize, but there are many people I know or like who are sort of people that I work with or people that my wife like my wife's boss comes to mind who do not need to work and just they just like
Their
they'll
whole
just
life
keep
is
working
built
until
around it.
their
They're
life is built around work exactly. Yeah, so I mean these guys their lives are built around football, right? So I don't know they would why he
right.
would leave until somebody absolutely forces him to go. And but I think
To
when
be
he
lucky enough to
yeah
do something
yeah
that you love that much and to be that good at it is, yeah, how do you just walk away from that? Alex Ferguson, you see him every match in the stands at Old Trafford. I like for a guy who was as intense in management as he was and as successful, you think like he's the prototype of guy who like immediately keels over and dies or throws himself into the river after retiring. But he seems like he's doing all right.
yep.
His wife sadly passed away recently, which I'm sure
I
will
didn't
take
know
a
that.
big toll on him.
Yeah, I didn't notice that.
But I just think it's interesting how he's seemingly thrived in retirement. But then he's
Yeah.
right. You read his business book, didn't you?
I read his Harvard Business School articles,
Okay, right.
and
Yeah. Well, he's like
I have
keeping
a copy of
himself
his
busy.
yeah, exactly. He's got his horses. He's
Uh-huh.
got the Harvard Business School articles. I bet he wakes up every day and he's got like a full plate of stuff to do, right? From like start to finish that he yeah, and I honestly I mean not to get like sentimental here, but yeah, it's like oh yeah.
Well, yeah,
um
yeah, Stimmy. He's like Hodgson's wife hates him. Warnock's wife hates him. What? How does your wife feel about you, Ian? That's what we want to know.
no, I
Actually, I
think we
know
know
the
the
answer to that.
we exactly both know the answer to that.
I mean, when your wife hears which way you voted, Ian, I'm sure that that's the hardest thing to grit your teeth through. You
Wait,
know what
how
I'm
did
talking about.
no, wait, was he a was he a Brexiter or something or
There,
what?
there's a long-standing joke that people in certain circles think that Ian is a Tory, but he's not. I'm not here to spread lies about Ian. He just roots for the posh. That's all.
I feel bad. Ian came to the meetup, didn't he? The one, the most recent one, and I don't think I got a chance to talk to him at all at that, or if I did, it was late. I
Wait,
know
was
it
he at
was
the he was at the meetup this recent one?
maybe not.
I
Maybe
definitely
on maybe okay
remember doing a tequila shot with Ian at Coin
the old one.
Laundry.
Yeah,
Yeah, at the 2020 meetup.
yes. But I thought he was at the. Maybe he wasn't. I don't know.
Ian,
This
can you
is
confirm? It would be
yeah. Can you
weird if
either
Ian showed up and
confirm?
he didn't say hello to either of us. That would be
I
very
thought I
weird.
saw, but you know, maybe it was no, not the okay, good. He was not at the most recent one. Okay, fine. We're off the hook. I did not talk to him because he wasn't there. Blew us off. So that's good to know. That's cool. You know, it's I'm sure you had other stuff going on. Those socks won't darn themselves, right? That's what
No.
that's I'm sure that's what his spy his wife who hates him was probably saying, Brendan. So
Oh, we're hemorrhaging listeners right now. I'm sure it's all people who are going to like get some refreshments. They're going to get scran for halftime. All right, best
okay,
scran from our recent tour
yeah,
of football grounds, Josh. And we can I think we can include the dreaded term hospitality in this question.
yeah.
Um,
Whatever, you
um
gotta just own it. We paid for the expensive tickets, and that's just something that we decided was okay to do.
the food at the bridge was good, and they really leaned into the speaking of Tories, they really leaned into the whole sausage roll, meat pie,
You're
sort of
you're you're
mashed
bearing
pot.
the lead. The that experience was great because you and I fell in love with the waiter, and
He
he
was
and I
young and handsome and thought we were
seemed to
cool and interesting, and
yeah, he
I
seemed a little
wanted to
posh
get him
himself.
invested in a
Yeah,
giant pyramid scheme. And
he was going places. I don't know what his
yeah, his
backstory is,
parents were
but he was
definitely rich. Yeah.
yeah, he was going places, and that yeah, that one was fun because we really it was the best food I would say at the three places. The food at West Ham was like it was
Horrible.
okay. It was pretty bad. I'm sorry to say. It was it like the lines move fast. I like that. That was good. And you know the beer always tastes good. So
Hmm.
maybe you know it's only suckers like us who aren't leaving our own homes who need food, right? Like we, you know, it's like we're not, you know, the smart move, especially for evening matches too, or 3 p.m. for that matter, even easier, right? Is to eat at your home, then or kind of eat outside the grounds. Although I did that once at Old Trafford and I had the worst fish and chips of my life. So I don't know about this, like eat on the grounds. That's where the better food is. Not as
Oh yeah, you look
convinced
at
about that.
Footy Scran, and there's just some delicious looking food. I have never seen it, so we need to
No,
do a little bit more research the next time
no.
we go to the UK. My biggest Scran report is actually not the food, but it's the glassware. Josh, you and I both fell in love with the Camden Town Brewery Jack pint glass, and it is a squat
Yes.
pint glass,
Yeah.
and you
I can't
can't
believe I didn't.
get them here in the
I know.
US.
I can't believe I didn't just buy some for you, like for Christmas or something like that. That would have been a great present.
Yeah. Well, the waiter, our waiter, our beloved waiter at the bridge told me I could put one in my handbag in my purse,
Oh
but
yeah,
I
we should.
didn't at the end of the day.
Oh yeah, is that what he said? I thought he was gonna get you one. I thought like you don't want a dirty one in your. Yeah,
That's true.
I feel like
Yeah.
they should have given us one to go. That's you know
Yeah.
we ended up donating money to the the gambling fund or whatever, right?
Yeah.
This like this person came by with like like a cash register, and you could just place bets. That was actually kind of fun. It was fun that you could do that on the
Oh,
pitch there.
totally.
All right, we got a couple
Okay.
matches come back. We had a couple of halftime changes.
Yeah,
Let
run
me
through the
see.
changes here.
Yeah, let's see here. Bunanote and Baleba are well, actually, no. So Baleba's off, uh, replaced by Bunanote, and let's see, Adingra is off as well, replaced by Welbeck. So Brendan,
Why
both of
not?
our boys have been taken off the pitch, replaced by. I guess Baleba was on the yellow, right? And Adingra I thought
Yeah.
was fine, but I don't know.
Sure. Well,
Sure,
like
yeah.
all of the is De Zerbi going to be the greatest manager to get sacked this season?
I don't
What
know.
is he
It's
doing?
He might be in that zone of who was the Marcella who was the Leeds
Bielsa?
manager? Bielsa. Could he be a Bielsa? I mean, Bielsa's been at like 50 clubs, right? And everyone recognizes that he's a terrific manager, outstanding, sort of tactical manager, but um, has other flaws to his managerial style, right? That kind of prevent him from being like an absolute top manager.
Yeah.
It could be that we're entering that zone with De Zerbi. I don't know. It feels a little premature still, right? It's hard to say if what would happen if he was at Man City, right? Like what would he do with a squad like that? Would he tinker that much, or would it be because there are some players like I feel like Solly March was a pretty consistent starter for Brighton last year, right? Certain players in certain spots, so he
I
he
think last
has
season the
trust.
squad was much full and consistent.
Yeah.
And there's just been something this season where De Zerbi has decided to paint his masterpiece or something like that.
Yeah, I suppose they've had some injuries as well. All right, we got our
I
early
wonder if I
corner.
wonder if he's seen an opportunity to level up and now he's trying to build a resume where like look at all the different things I can do
Mm,
and
I think you're over. I think you're overthinking this
okay.
one. I
Okay.
think I think he's just. I think he's not satisfied. I mean, again, this is a team that through 18 weeks has not kept a single clean sheet in the Premier League, not a single
Verbruggen's
one.
blowing that
Yeah,
catch.
and I think that's a pretty big factor, right? Like it's
Yeah.
just that, like they can't stop anybody from scoring, and that just feels like a huge problem. And
Yeah.
once you've reached 18 consecutive matches without a clean sheet, it does feel like there probably is a tactical reason for that, right? That moves out
Yes.
of the realm of randomness a little bit.
Yeah, right. It's clearly not something he wants.
Is this
He
going to
just
be Verbruggen's last match, by the way, for
he's
for,
been
for
terrible,
Brighton?
yes.
He's been terrible. All right, Elise's got the ball.
Oh yeah, give us some commentary here.
Olise, Verbruggen. What else can you say? The ball bounced over. Verbruggen grabbed it in the box. It
Yeah.
was
Well,
deflected.
back in my day, that was never a caught football by the goalkeeper.
Oh, okay,
Somebody
we
would have
got a
cleaned him right out.
successful tackle. Palace are now taking this match to
Yeah, they
Brighton.
really
What
are.
what do you think
It
about
just
these
really didn't
Brighton?
work.
What do you think about these Brighton kits, by the way?
I love them. I think it's a great combo, black and green with the white bottoms. If bottoms,
Yeah,
okay, shorts and socks.
shorts. Yeah, bottoms. I knew what you meant.
I love them. I think it's great. What do you think?
I like them. I don't know if I
Okay.
love them, but I
Yeah.
I like them. I like them.
What
Um,
about the Palace where they're not doing the stripes this season? They've got the half and half. Is that working for you?
it's okay. What is their sponsor again? It's like some lame. It's Cinch.
Cinch?
Not a fan. I don't know why
Yeah.
the sponsorships keep. You would think they would get bigger and bigger, but somehow they seem to get lamer and lamer.
You want it to be like MGM Grand or something like
Yeah,
that? Huh?
Steak.com, the famous. Oh, it was almost dead.
Yeah. Oh,
Offside, offside.
Gahey's gonna walk away with like a 9-pointer here.
No, Will Hughes.
Will Hughes, footballer who looks most like a referee.
I was gonna say he looks the one who looks most like the guy from Me, Myself, and Irene. You ever seen the movie Me, Myself, and Irene? And there's a
Sure, with
guy
Jim
that he
Carrey.
meets. Yeah, there's a guy that he meets who I actually does Will Hughes actually suffer from albinism, or is that just
I believe so. I believe
I
he has
believe
some
so.
form
Yeah.
of it. I don't know if it's
Yeah.
technically albinism.
There's a character in there's a character in Me, Myself, and Irene who also does. And he's got the little like eyepiece thing. Yeah.
It's not he looks a lot like the actor Ben Foster to me. Is that the same guy?
Ah, different. I think it's a different actor, but be cool if that was like Ben Foster's first role was as that was the albino
Yeah.
kid in
Now everybody
Me,
knows
Myself, and
Fast
Irene.
Forward was Ben Foster's first role on the Disney Channel.
I like most like a Harry Potter. There is a Harry Potter, although most like a Harry Potter character feels like a competitive thing.
Yeah.
Michael Elise kind of looks like a Harry Potter character to me a
He
little bit.
does. Yeah, he would
Yeah,
definitely be like the interesting kid who starts school and nobody knows his background and he turns out to be an amazing wizard but still kind
yeah,
of unknowable.
yeah. I think there's that's a good. Who else looks like a Harry Potter character? Well, I mean, Erlen Holland looks like a villain in Harry.
Snape.
Yeah, he looks. Yeah, looks like. Oh my gosh, Verbruggen again. Oh my goodness, Verbruggen's red zone, and just like me in Game Week
Yeah.
38, he like. It'd be amazing if they just made a sub right now, 52nd minute Verbruggen sub, just
Just get him out of
end his
there.
just end his confidence, just be like, your career's over, mate. Time to go somewhere else.
There we
Oh,
go. Buonanotte.
oh. See,
Oh, that's
whenever the
okay.
ball, first of all, it's weird that Pedro was behind like five players as the ostensible forward, but um, that thing when the person runs up to a loose ball and hits it as hard as they possibly can,
Yeah.
and it goes, nowhere close to anybody. That like, do those balls go in practice? Do you think? Like,
Some
are there
of them,
moments?
sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
You really just have to get over the ball. That's the mechanics of it. That's what they always teach you. Like you got to get the knee over the ball.
yeah,
And I guess the only way you can score from that far out typically is that you just do have to leather it because
yeah.
if you hit it with too much finesse, the keeper will just catch it.
Which opens
So
the
I think
question
that's
of
the
whether
logic anyway.
Yeah, which opens the question of whether you should be trying to shoot from that spot,
Yes,
right?
that's really the ultimate
Yeah.
consideration.
If the chances are 1 in 50 that that ball's even going to get
Oh,
close to the net.
I'm being told by FPL wannabe that I look like a dark arts teacher.
Yeah, I can kind of see that.
Be like
Yeah, I
the
can.
cool dark arts teacher who like makes the
Yeah,
kids like listen to some cool music to illustrate
yeah,
some sort of theme I'm trying to present.
I can see you in like a pointy hat as
I
well.
sit like backwards in the chair while I like rap with all my students.
Ugh, that was poor. Pascal Gross, not Pascal Gross's finest match, I would say.
No. Who has
He
been the best Brighton player so far? I mean, Matoma has not aired, I suppose.
he's had the ball.
Yeah.
Um, that is a good question. I don't know. It
Yeah.
feels I have not been blown away by anybody, I would say.
Okay. So let's look ahead. Let's take an opportunity to look ahead to what else is going on this game week. So you Captain Watkins, I assume?
I did. Yeah, same as you.
I did, yes, and went Vice on Sala, but that I think will definitely be moot this week, unlike the recent weeks. Um, I guess that's really gonna be the defining moment of the game week. I don't really feel like I'm expecting too much else beyond my captaincy. I've got a lot riding on the Wolves Chelsea match, which I'm not feeling any confidence about because Chelsea are playing at Wolves. I
Yeah.
feel like that's going to be a lower scoring match.
Yeah. I tend to agree there.
It's one of
And
those. It's one of those.
I thought we had a chance for a goal there.
Whoa,
Dunk. It's
donkey.
one of those shots where the angle makes it really hard to
Yeah,
tell
yeah.
where that ball's going. Like it felt like a
That's when we need to
goal
bring
for a
back the
second.
Fox laser puck.
Yeah,
To
we do need a laser puck there. Oh, actually, and on the replay, that's much closer to being a goal than I
yeah, it's
thought it
not
was.
definitely not a bad effort on his
No,
part.
not at all. It's a lot of distance, right? You have to
Yeah,
get that
that ball
angle.
had to
Yeah,
travel. It was like traveling to Butternuts, the Butternut Valley.
exactly. It's a hike. All right, here we go. Thomas got the ball again. All right, Brighton have really stepped it up here.
Yeah. I mean, it's not been a drab game, I
Oh,
guess. Good back heel.
oh,
Nice.
up.
Oh, Jesus.
There it is.
He's given the pen.
Pellenty. Oh wait, no, he's not.
No. It
Goal
was hard to
kick.
tell what he was pointing to
I
there.
thought he was pointing for a pen as well.
Or was he just saying wait?
It looked like I don't know. It looked like he was pointing to the spot.
He thought he was being encroached on by the penalty spot to
Yeah, yeah. He was
uh,
holding his hand out like
affect the
stop.
decision.
Okay, nice back heel and
Beautiful back heel. And they're not going to
hard.
give that.
That
No
seems
way.
light.
It was just a horribly taken chance there.
I'm not sure
He's just
he
dug his
actually got
cleats into
touched.
the ground.
Yeah, that actually probably should be Hinchelwood. That should be a
Yeah, that should be a
Hinchelwood.
dive.
Yeah, that should be a Hinchelwood yellow or something.
Yeah, Hinch. More,
Hinch.
yeah, that's the sponsor for Crystal Palace, Cinch, more like Hinch. You know what I mean?
Wow, I do love the name
Wood.
Hinchelwood.
Ian likes the reference to the football ramble.
Yeah, Valenti.
He was going for gold there, Ian.
Going for glowed.
Gold.
I have to admit, I have not listened to that pod in years.
Yeah,
They,
it's just over. It's too much content now.
I
Too many
still
voices.
too many voices. They really, I feel like it's like a lesson to us. It's one of the reasons I am okay with us being mostly just you and me on the pod because I stopped listening to Football Ramble because I liked the four of them together, and they
Yeah.
stopped doing a single pod that was just the four of them together. Like
Yeah.
there wasn't not even one, right? They used to have one, and they went to 2
Mhm.
that were them. Those were all great, and I'm sure they all got sick of each other or whatever. But like it's I don't know, man. Like it's and all the other people are fine. Like I like Jules Breach and Andy. What's his
Andy
name? Like the
Brassel,
Andy Brassel. They're all very
Kate
nice.
Mason. I'm a fan of hers.
Yeah.
But I think when they started their own business, like when it became not just a side hustle, I think there's that much busier running the business side of things.
Yeah.
Is my interpretation of that.
Other Igor Yellow. Yellows are suddenly piling up. I feel like
What
we
is a
didn't get our
hair
first
pull?
yellow. Okay.
That's
Yeah.
inappropriate by Igor.
Inappropriate. I feel like we didn't get
Inap-
our first yellow for like 40 minutes. And now that will be the fifth yellow of the match, Brandon. So the yellows are
They're
piling up
stacking
all of
up.
a sudden. They're stacking up. And I guess we got the first one at 29, but still, first 30 minutes were clean. So like a good clean match. Now Jules doesn't do
Oh,
it anymore. Well, that's too bad. I enjoyed. Kate either. But both of our girls, Brandon, are
oh,
not
jeez.
doing any
Okay,
football
it's
ramble
just
stuff.
like a bunch of uninteresting men now. Okay,
It's
I've got
just,
enough of that.
it's,
Thanks.
yeah, exactly. Enough men in my life. Enough man stuff going on.
Yeah, I'm knee deep in man stuff. I'm just on my own.
I will. I will occasionally. I think part of it is it's like I'm okay with other people being on as guests for pods, but um, it needs to be like a pretty consistent rotation because, like for example, like the football Guardians Football Weekly, right?
Yeah, yeah,
I still subscribe to it; it's still in my feed. But for a long time, I had a few people that I just got really kind of sick of, right? And I was like,
yeah,
if this person is on this show, I'm not
yeah.
going to listen to
Philippe
it.
Auclair.
Yeah. Philippe was kind of is one of them. Sometimes he was okay, but like there's some people. It's like Jonathan Wilson. If Jonathan Wilson was on, I'm gonna listen most likely,
Yeah,
right? But then they started adding all these other people, and I was like, I don't know if I like them or not. And it
yeah.
was like the rotating people. It was too many, right? And so I felt
That's
like I
why
was
the
sort of
Second Captains is the perfect football podcast
yep,
because the first half of the Monday Football Pod is your boy Ken Early giving his thoughts.
yep,
And then the second half is let's bring in a couple journos to give some different perspectives. So
yep.
it's always like a little bit of what you want and expect and a little bit of what you need at the end. It's like the perfect blend. And it doesn't have to just be new voices throughout the entire show.
I agree. I think that if you and I were to ever get our big Coca-Cola sponsorship and um, do a daily pod in that style, I think that that style is exactly what I'd want to emulate, right? Like
Yeah.
sort of keep it close and still. I don't know. I mean, I think it's fine now that we're kind of heading towards January to talk about what we're planning to do over the next couple of months, right? Because
Sure.
our goal is to start doing much well, yeah. I mean, a lot more YouTube content, right? Like, given that what we're at right now is basically zero, and the hope is that. We're going to start trying to do something on Fridays before game week deadlines. Not necessarily deadline day or like deadline hour, which I think feels like a pretty well covered zone, right? But sort of deadline morning, right? It feels like our zone, Brandon. The sort of like
Yes.
low stakes zone. I think that's where people
Yeah.
like us. So, but it might be a
Yeah,
chance
we're
for
we're
people to
just inside of the "it depends" window.
exactly. So I think it might be a chance for people to have lunch or have afternoon, well, lunch or breakfast, depending whether you're an American
You can
or
have a
European.
bacon buddy at both of
Yeah,
those meals.
because
So,
dinner, yeah, dinner if you're Australian. Chat with the cheaters, and I think that'll be kind of a fun thing. And the trick for us is to figure out how to do something on YouTube, do our normal pod, and then make sure that we're still creating new content for Patreon supporters. And so I think one thing we've talked about doing a little bit is doing more interviews as kind of Patreon features, which I think would be kind of cool, anyways, because it's something that we haven't really done a lot of in the past, and it would be kind of a there's a lot of people that we've just never really talked to about strategy or anything like that. Yeah, I mean, it'd be fun to stream in the PJs. I mean, we'll mostly be I mean, I'll be up with my kid. I actually we the timing we're sort of it's sort of like when could I get back after dropping my kid off from school is sort of like the
yeah.
window that we're looking at. So I think it'll be fun though. I think it'll be a good opportunity. Not these would not be super long. I think we're thinking like around like I don't even know like 15-30 minutes. So yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know. Yeah,
Yeah, no, I think just, like, looking at the comments on the chat, which is basically, it's our friends, which is
yep,
really lovely to see, but we don't get this kind of real-time interaction when we record the podcast. It's me and Josh sort of working from a show outline,
yep,
and I think it's really fun the way YouTube Live offers us that ability to interact with people and make that a part of the show. So that's really cool. I really want to do more of that, and especially um, when we are on deadline day, depending, regardless of how many hours you're away, there's lots of team specific questions that
yep,
we could work off of, and um, everyone's always like, "Oh, I hate to ask this question because it's so specific to my team." But I think in a situation like a live video stream, a lot of, like your teacher would say, Josh, there are no dumb questions because everyone's probably thinking the same question in their head. So just
yep,
ask it.
yep. Yeah, I think it'll be. I think it'll be. But with that said, if people have some I don't know, some suggestions or ideas. I mean, you and I are still really figuring out how to actually do it right and how to do it well. And I also the question I would be curious about is what do people feel like they're not getting from current YouTube streams, right? Like
Hmm.
what is there that you feel like I don't know that's just sort of like that's kind of missing a little bit.
Should be legal. We should
Yeah,
mention.
should be legal. I think I mean I think one thing is that I do think that the goal will be to be fun, and I think that that's something that um I don't know, like I sometimes I feel like this stuff can get very serious, and
Yeah, too many
you know
Excel spreadsheets being shared on the screen.
yeah,
It's good. It's good to be able to share our teams
hmm
visually, and that's useful for context. But yeah, I'm not here to share grids, spreadsheets. It's not what I'm about.
no um it's getting like what I'm feeling like a little extra Brighton pressure is finally coming on here a little
It's
bit.
been in
It's
their half,
sustained, yeah, the
or
last 15
Palace's
minutes or
half, I should
so.
say.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, does this finish 1-1?
Yes.
I feel like there's only one more goal left in this match.
I think it finishes 1-1. I think
Yeah.
that's a fair assessment.
All right, let's reestablish our predictions in the chat. There
I
was a
said
good
two
question
two.
from
Ooh.
I save Henderson. There was a good question from Wannabe who wanted to know how many your boys are out there.
uh Well, there's 18, and but the thing is, the 18 can always change, and I think
One
that's an
in, one
important.
out.
It's a one in, one out policy, exactly. So I have 18. The thing is, Brandon has even more. Brandon's got 53, and
Yep.
so
It's
for
always
you,
been 53. Yeah.
it's always been 53. It's exactly so. And for you, the person actually has to, they have to pass away. So that is, I think,
Yeah.
so in some ways you kind of get excited, right? Like
Yeah.
when when well,
And,
for example, Maradona was one of your boys,
yeah.
right? And
And
so
now he went to boy afterlife.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And so for you, I think you were kind of excited that Maradona passed, right?
Yeah.
Because for you, it opened
Yeah.
up a new
Yeah.
window, which some people think that was morbid, but for you, that was just a practical thing, right? I mean,
Yeah, it was
it
incredible.
was
I
yeah,
sent out
yeah.
an unlisted YouTube link and got a lot of applicants. Danny Welbeck did show up, and I
He
thought
did
it was
reach out.
strange.
Yeah,
I
that
just
was yeah.
I blocked him. Nice try, Danny. Uh,
Oh my goodness! Oh no, 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 no.
no excuses for that.
Born
Hinchelwood
in
is garbage.
yeah, more like Malinote, Brandon. Get it?
Hinchel
I'll
Hinchel
I know that
Twig.
was Hinchelwood, but yeah, more like Hinchelwood Miss on that.
Hmm. Norwegian wood,
Wow, too
which
hard.
is nice wood. Norwegian wood.
Does nobody ever want to hit it gently? Like, is that just considered uncool? Is that what it is? You know that like a gently hit ball that
Yeah, softly, softly, catchy monkey. That's how
yeah.
you do it. I think that I think in those situations, sometimes the ball takes an odd bounce off the turf and it hits just slightly in a different spot of your foot than you're thinking. You just look at the inside of your instep, Josh. It's a curvy,
Tinselwood.
it's an odd place on your body.
Elise, he does not like it. Oh man, he's gonna get out his
He's
wand.
yeah,
This could be trouble.
Levioso. That would be incredible if he was just like pulls up his jersey after scoring and it just says the boy the boy must live or
The
what
boy who lived.
the boy. It's all a reference to Harry
The
Potter.
boy.
Our
That's true.
boys.
Our boys.
Are you reading that with your kid yet? Is that on
Harry
the docket?
Potter.
Yeah.
No, not yet. But it's actually interesting because I didn't even really know if Quinn knew much about Harry Potter. And then after school one day, there are like I don't even know what it was. It was block party or something. All these kids were talking, and they were all talking about which house they were in. And then Quinn was like, "Oh, I mean, whatever. They all want to be in Gryffindor, right? But like, Quinn was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I'm definitely in Gryffindor." And I was like, "How do you even know what that is? Like, how do you have this? Like, I guess we've seen a couple of the movies, like, but Quinn hasn't seen like the later ones, that
Yeah.
were really where
I took
things
an online quiz and I am Gryffindor.
oh wow, that's amazing. Yeah,
Yeah.
I took the same online quiz. You won't believe what I got though.
Gryffindor?
Yeah, I got Gryffindor. Everybody gets Gryffindor. Oh my gosh, chaos! Oh my gosh!
Oh,
Oh no!
oh no.
Oh no!
Oh, Dean Henderson looked like he was a wide receiver for the Chicago Bears there for a second.
It like bounced out of his hands on his butt or something.
You could
I
I
don't
just love
shorts.
him just like looking at the ball, just being like, "Come to me. It's not coming."
Oh my goodness.
Okay, this game is getting a little much. Let's bring a little quality back into this match, lads.
Well, I mean, we've seen just like I guess we've seen a few good saves, but the goalkeeping in general has not felt very commanding
Yeah,
so far in
yeah,
this match.
yeah. Note to self for future captaincy choices.
Okay. All right. Here we go. Little Crystal Palace
Let's
run.
go.
Elise
Let's make a
gets
move
the
here.
ball. He's into the box,
Do
and he
him.
still has the
Nice. Hit it.
ball. Nice. Yep. Okay. Maybe
Yeah.
corner. All right. Oh no. Goal kick. Wow. Didn't realize that bounced off Klein at the end there.
Mm,
No, I
okay.
don't.
No.
I don't wish it was a different game. I think this is great. I like. Uh, I mean, yes. I mean, I guess I wish it was like a classic 5 goal thriller or something like that. But I don't
Does
know. I
this
feel
feel
like
like an M38 Derby that we're gonna remember?
no, but the thing is, I really don't remember a lot of them. They all seem like they're like this. I feel like all of them are one ones, aren't they? Like they're all kind of. Well, here,
Yeah.
okay, here comes some excitement.
All right. All
This
right.
is exciting.
So suddenly the next goal is going to be Palaces.
I mean,
Olise and Eze on the
exactly.
pitch at the
That's
same
that
time is
is
just like,
in
mm,
theory that is the future for this
yeah,
club, right?
yeah, has to be. Get them get them Sorloth back, and
I mean,
then that's like having
yeah.
Neymar, Messi, and Suarez.
It does feel like they all finished 1-1, and you know, I feel like oh wow, another Henderson just
What's
he's
going
everywhere. I don't
on?
know what's going on. We have some really or maybe it's too confident. I don't know. Maybe it's not unconfident. It's irrational confidence. It's the
Yeah.
irrational confidence match, Brandon.
Wait, is that a reference to something? Irrational confidence, man? Is that another Onion article?
I don't think so. I think that's just like an expression, isn't it? Irrational confidence.
Oh, I feel like it's a basketball thing. Like the
Yeah,
guy
it
who
could
just
be.
starts jacking threes.
Yeah, that's true. It could be like a Bill Simmons thing or something.
Yeah. Who was
But
the walk-on kid for Michigan State who was the irrational confidence?
that's a good
Throw
question.
throw out some small white.
Is it the one who turned into a billionaire, Matt Ishbia? Because he probably is a good
Yeah, I
like he,
think it
he
is
now owns
Ishbia.
the a walk on a Michigan State and now owns the Phoenix Suns, like the craziest what an
It's
arc.
like Operation Paperclip,
You
basically.
guys were like at school at the same time. Like what a weird thought, you know? It's like
Yeah.
so
I'm nowhere
weird.
close to buying a professional sports team. I'm
No,
so far
exactly.
off.
Exactly. Just for now. Just for now.
For now, yeah. The
Yeah.
dream is not dead yet. Okay.
Not absolutely not.
I've got
But no,
one can.
but looking at Lisa and Essay out there, um, it's an interesting question of like how do you get to become Aston Villa, right? Let's say that it's not just the manager, right? Like it's not
Yeah.
just Emery being able to kind of find the right combination. Like what does Villa have that makes them so exceptional, right?
I guess it really is an exceptional spine. From Watkins to Douglas Louise
Yeah,
to some good center
Martinez,
backs.
Martinez too,
and
right? I
and
mean,
and through to Martinez. It's a really good spine,
yeah,
and I think you have to get lucky to a degree. Like Ollie Watkins, he could have been a Che Adams
yeah,
type. So they got lucky in that Ollie Watkins was able to rise to the occasion and play at this level. So like Mateta or Eduard, are those bad buys because they just haven't elevated themselves to a Watkins level, or is it just
yeah,
bad luck on Palace's part that I don't know? It's like drafting quarterbacks into the NFL, right? It's so hard to tell which ones coming out of college will be a good fit for the
yeah.
NFL. Like, has anyone
Yeah.
figured out the formula for that?
No, not really. I mean, I mean, the guy who might win the MVP award this year, the Brock Purdy is a quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers, was literally the last pick in the draft in 2022. Literally the last pick. There's a name. The last pick in the NFL draft every year is called Mr. Relevant, and they get like a little trophy and stuff like that. It's like a whole thing because kind of like for whatever reason, maybe because there's like a little extra motivation being the last pick like there's a long history of last picks in the draft being like having long NFL careers.
Hmm.
But this is kind of exceptional. He's basically in the Tom Brady zone now where it's like this,
Wow.
you know, but again, there's like that draft, there were quarterbacks taken in the first round and quarterbacks taken, you know, in several other rounds, and nobody is as good as this guy. And so yeah, it does feel like it's still another
Come on,
Brighton,
Brighton.
but there's nothing going on at the end. There's like they lack a
Yeah.
forward. You know, they
This is
really do lack a
Hinchelwood.
forward.
Like,
Yeah. I don't know. It feels
so
like
yeah,
there's
I
yeah,
think that, and if you get the Brock Purdy at a like a lower level Premier League side, there
yeah,
some top top of the table club is going to come and just give you 80 million pounds and take them off your
yeah,
like in the NFL that doesn't happen. Like then suddenly like your contract is your contract to a degree.
yeah. Yeah, I think that's true. And I think I mean, even for top clubs like Arsenal, it's kind of hard. Like they can't buy Jude Bellingham types, right? Like
Hmm.
it's they kind of have to.
Liverpool couldn't even afford him. It's crazy.
Yeah, and so you have to kind of get lucky, right? You need Saka to you need some academy guys to luck out.
Hmm.
Um you need to kind of get a guy on his second job, right? Like in like Odegaard and hope that
Yeah,
pans
right.
out. I mean, there are a lot of second job guys at Villa, that's for sure. I mean, like guys who I mean, I don't know. I mean, I Watkins I suppose was a I think Brentford were still in the championship when
He
maybe it
signed
was the year
he
they
signed for
came up.
Villa this summer after he got Brighton or Brentford promoted, and
Okay.
then his contract was up, or he
What a
had 1 year
crazy
left.
forward line that is to think
Yeah,
about, right? And Bomo, Watkins, Tony.
yeah, and then
Like what a
Ben Rama
fun
on the left was also
yeah,
excellent.
that's like a loaded that's a
Yeah,
loaded team. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Liverpool could afford him, didn't have Champions League to tempt him. Yeah, I mean, but even Liverpool they don't spend 100
no,
plus million that often, and
yeah,
yeah, I think so. Yeah, you definitely takes a little bit of luck, and I think you talk about the spine and what's the big thing missing from Brighton year over year. Big thing missing is McAllister, right?
yes, right,
Who
yeah.
now basically became like insta starter for Liverpool, right? And it's kind of amazing actually there because outside of the occasional red card, he's 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 just kind of anonymously been playing well, right?
Yeah.
It's like he's just kind of like just doing what like you want a central midfielder to do. He kind of controls the ball like
Yeah, has a
just
full range of passing from the midfield and not in a like Tiago sort of a way. It's like he can actually move his body. This is like something Jordan Henderson couldn't ever do. It's like I can pass forward, back, sideways, etc. And to have a guy like that who is like ostensibly a creative midfielder playing really sturdy defensive midfielder is yeah,
it's
huge
awesome.
plus.
It's what they didn't have last year. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I guess just in general, I mean, it's like look at Arsenal this year um Declan Rice and how awesome he's been for them. And
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, a good defensive midfielder. It's like you don't even think about them, right? Fabinho was like this for a long time. That you can go an entire match without ever kind of noticing them because they're just
So
doing
here's my
really good
big
work.
theory, or my wish for Arsenal is I think they should replace Kai Havertz over the summer with Joe Linton from Newcastle, and I think
Okay,
they would be unbeatable.
interesting. I mean, Havertz has been playing better recently, so that is helpful
Hmm.
for Arsenal. Even a on the record Havertz hater like me has to admit that. But oh, we could have a little breakaway
Oh,
here.
nice, nice. Look at Eze. He's wide open. Got to finish.
And nope.
Oh,
Okay, he's holding on to the ball too long. He's still holding
he's
on to the
holding it.
ball.
He's killing the
He gives the
clock.
ball
God, look at
away.
him.
Wow.
No, that was not a great
Oh
pass.
no. Oh, Verbruggen. Verbruggen, you got to get there, buddy. He's not for bringing it tonight, Brandon. I think we're running
No,
into a problem.
but
Yeah,
I
okay,
just think
okay.
like
Yeah, but
Xhaka.
would Newcastle like let Joelinton go?
That
I
would
mean,
be insane.
Newcastle.
Yes, he'd have to be out
Yeah,
of contract, which I don't
yeah,
think they'd. It will not happen
yeah,
unless and money. I don't think would really talk to a team as
yeah.
wealthy as Newcastle.
Yeah, unless he gets as sick of Eddie Howe as all of us are, right? Like
I'm
that's a
done. I'm
possible.
good. Thanks.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm all set.
A little
That
handball.
felt like another chance. Um, everyone's hitting the ball too hard today, Brandon. I want to introduce slow
Slow
pitch
pitch.
football. Just slow it down. The Joe Pera of
There's that peep
English
show
Premier League.
bit where Mark goes to play, like five aside, and he's like in his like work pants and a polo shirt, and somebody kicks the ball at him. He's like, "Well, somebody's gonna get hurt kicking the ball that hard." Y'all know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I just read his book, the Unruly, the
Yeah,
history of the
you were
English.
raving about it. You
Oh,
said it
it's
was
very
great.
fun. It's
Yeah.
very fun book. Really enjoyed it.
It's so funny that he is so much his character in Peep Show in real life.
I
I
know.
guess it's. I guess you shouldn't be surprised. Like you got to write what you know, Josh.
Exactly. Yeah, that he was like literally as a person reading these like giant history books apparently,
This
right?
is
That he was
the most annoying thing my dad has ever said, and he said it
oh,
multiple
Matoma
times.
with a
We
nice
would
play. Oh, don't think so.
no, no, he's looking for it,
Too off
ladies and
balance.
gentlemen.
Oh, Henderson just gave him a
He's pulling
shove.
an Emmy Martinez.
Eric Sibbles jumps into the chat. Nice to see you,
All
Eric.
right, Eric.
Hope that
Hello.
you are well.
I was just gonna say, my dad would always say, watching an episode of Seinfeld, he'd be like, "Who comes up with this stuff?" And like the whole thing with Seinfeld is it's all just stuff that happens. It's universal things. Like, what's the
hmm
deal with this? It's
hmm
funny because everyone can relate to it. And there's
Yeah,
my
we all
dad is just be
understand. Yeah, why do you drive on a parkway and park on a driveway?
like, "Who comes up with this stuff?"
Oh, another spill.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I'm giving the keepers Josh Landon's anti man of the match award
Hmm,
on
hmm.
on both sides.
They're the child of the
Yeah,
match.
child of the match award. I guess I gotta give Elise the match of the man. The match of the man. Is it the match or the man, Brandon? The man of the man. The
He
man
is
of the
the
match
match.
award.
He is the man and the
Yeah,
match. I would agree with that. I think Elise has been very class. Ooh,
Tom is
Toma's
still
hurting here.
working out that fake
What a ball!
injury.
What that ball was terrible. What is Brighton's plan here? They've lost all discipline.
I just saw something recently that made me laugh about how no someone said no player on a winning no player on a losing team has ever come down with a cramp in a match. And now I'm on this like I want to see a player go down with a cramp on a losing team. And like send some of that Spurs stuff. I feel like I have not seen it happen yet. I've seen it happen many times for the winning team. And I'm like, surely I will see, Brandon,
Mm.
a player on a losing team go down with a cramp at some point.
Wow, you're going to
Oh
be.
my goodness gracious.
Oh. Welbeck.
Wow.
Welbs.
That
All right,
Welsh
he
guy.
might have gotten spot 52 or
Wow.
53
Really?
right there. Yeah,
You've been holding on to it. Yeah.
I think
When
he
did
crept in. Listen, I
wow,
don't give
when
them
did he
away
pass
lightly.
away? Yeah, no, it's
Or did somebody just die?
did somebody just somebody out there just died. Oh my god.
That
It's
goal
like
went in and somebody died.
maybe it's like
What
a
a header.
wow, that's beautiful. Maybe it's like a final destination thing where you
Mhm.
picking the player
Mhm.
means somebody has to die somewhere. So
It's
yeah, we'll find out
unfortunate,
soon.
but
Yeah, which one it is.
these I didn't make the rules.
I know we should see this list because I know some people on that list are Patreon supporters, and so that is the one concern, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, we could have that could be the we're all always like fancifully like, would anybody go higher than the producer tier? Could we have a your boy tier?
Your boy tier, death tier.
Look at all
You
the
could,
attendance around Matoma. He's gassed.
wow. Who got
Okay,
the
game
assist
on.
for that?
My
Yeah.
2-1 prediction for Brighton is still on.
Yeah, that's true. And this match always finishing 1-1 is
Yeah,
starting to
but yeah,
feel
yeah. We
yeah.
can't lose.
Yep. Wow, that was a beautiful header though from
Yeah,
Welbeck.
unsavable.
He's had a funny career, but he's really found his level, hasn't he?
Yeah, yeah. You have to
Like,
respect
yeah,
it for sure.
totally. Ian, good to see you, man. God, it's almost 10 o'clock at night for people in the UK. So I totally
See ya,
understand.
Ian.
It's nice having people pop in and out like this. It's been
I
kind of
love
fun
it. It's
to
like an open house.
check in. Yeah, exactly.
Some
Um,
refreshments.
yeah, I
What sort
think
of refreshment should we serve at our next watch along?
I think that the thing I want to figure out is what if there is a like an even semi decent American match of the day type thing that we could do. There used to
Mm-hmm.
be there used to be this TV show that would like at the end of the week. Remember they give you like it was like an hour of highlights, like it kind of put them all
Yeah,
together.
yeah.
Um, I don't think they even do that anymore. Peacock has made things so complicated.
You
Unfortunately,
can't
it's
find
like
anything on Peacock is the
you
problem.
can't, and it's like
We
I
were
feel
told we were
honestly,
on Peacock, and we're like, good luck finding us when we were on
yeah.
the fantasy
Oh,
show.
with the show exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I also think that it's it feels like the Premier League is kind of like a victim of the streaming wars to a certain degree, where um, it just feels like they have to put all of these games on Peacock to get people to subscribe to Peacock.
Yeah.
But then you sort of you aren't making new fans because all of your best matches are the ones that you have to dig through like
Yeah, you're
9
not
layers of
stumbling upon
stuff.
them.
Yeah, exactly. And then you go to Peacock and they're almost like embarrassed that they have the Premier League. It's like you can't find it anywhere, you know? And it's so strange to me. I don't know. So I hope that now I'm just like in like team like realign all the streaming networks. Give us like 2 or 3 options and we can get back to something normal again because this is not
You
working.
want
Is it
cable?
like
Is that what you want?
well, I don't want cable, but I would like a little less chaos.
Yeah.
I think there's somewhere in between 13 streaming network. Like
It
Michigan
seems like
State
that's
basketball
happening
is on
though,
like
right?
9
Like
networks. Y-
HBO being consumed by Discovery
Yeah, but
and
that's like a I mean, like Discovery was like not even its own. That's like corporate consolidation to a degree, right?
sure. Yeah, but it does
Yeah,
point to what you're talking about,
it does
doesn't it?
point. Yeah, I guess so. And apparently there's like Paramount Plus is in talks with, is it HBO? Somebody. So that would be great. Yeah, but like it'd be nice, like to have Peacock and Paramount Plus would be my ideal
Well, I watch
combo.
Paramount Plus on Amazon Prime. Like Amazon Prime is, I think, really good at bundling stuff. Like I Showtime
Yeah,
and Paramount Plus is in there, so
yeah.
a number of apps I have to go into. I
Oh,
don't know how
right.
that works
Are you
business
watching?
wise.
Yeah, you have Showtime for The Curse, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely, which is wonderful.
I think I'm gonna watch it, even though I'm sort of wary of it.
Just try it. If you don't like it, as my mother would say, then you don't have to eat it.
Little foul.
Gahey, no clean sheet for you, Gahey.
No,
What's he doing here?
bullet
Ooh.
dodged. Kind of sitting on the ball a little bit.
Yeah, that's kind of weak from Gahey there. Yeah,
ESPN
but you
FC is that a do you mean the like the TV? Is it like is it online only or is it actually on ESPN itself? I actually don't know um, what that is. So yeah, fill us in the comments there, Eric.
yeah,
Um,
ESPN's soccer coverage is because they have like rights to nothing, is pretty bad.
it is, yeah. For a long time, it used to be David. What's his name? He would just write articles about Arsenal every week. It was just like I used to work in publishing. Remember that? It was like it's like a guy who like worked in book publishing was like a soccer fan, and he just became like
I
the
don't
guy that
remember
he
this.
got to write like a weekly article.
Okay.
That was oh my goodness. Brighton are
Ooh.
coming on late. I'd be a little nervous
Yeah.
if I were
Yeah.
Palace. Oh, it's on ESPN Plus. Okay.
The one enjoyable thing about ESPN Plus is they have the championship, which is fun if you're following a club there, and it's a no nonsense. And a lot of the championship matches they broadcast, they're just getting the straight feed, and there's always just one commentator, which I love. I love a one man booth.
Yeah,
I
nice and
think all
quiet.
commentary should be one man
I don't
or
mind
woman.
one man either. Nice and quiet. I'm into it.
Just you and me alone with our thoughts.
Yep. All right, into the final. I don't think there's gonna be that much extra time here. There haven't been any injuries or anything. It's
Yeah, there
one
really
goal.
hasn't been any stoppage in play.
Okay. What are we predicting? How about let's say 4 minutes of extra time.
Yep, I like four. I'll go five just to be different,
Okay.
but I do think that's a stretch.
Those pesky book publisher folk. I know
I'm
that that's
I'm
still
I'm
branded.
rooting for Brighton here just because I had that prediction of 2-1 Brighton. Um, Crystal Palace have really just fallen off here. They
Oh yeah. Oh my goodness. Oh no.
Oh, wow.
Wow. I
Just like
guess
you were saying, Josh, the goalkeepers have been horrifying this match.
this oh my gosh, that would have been
What is
one of the greatest goals. I don't know if you would have called it a goal even. I mean it is a goal, but it's like it would have felt
Yeah.
like an own goal.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's like off the backboard, nothing but net.
Wow. That did not miss by much.
Mm.
Wow, it's actually it's genuinely like hard to say who was the worst keeper between these two. Oh, and then I think he's got a time wasting yellow too, Henderson.
Henderson,
So
wow, just
I
having
think
a
so. They just
banger.
show. I think so. The ref went to his pocket a minute ago, so that's
Definitely
he
is.
did. Yeah, that's got to be a time wasting yellow. Wow. Okay, so Wannabe says three. I said four. How many minutes did you say? What was your
5.
minutes? Five. Okay. They might say five just because they give more than they used to, but I think I'm gonna guess four.
They might give
That's
5
the
because they want Brandon to get what he wants.
yeah, that's true. It is Christmas.
I've been a good boy.
Well back. Oh, nice run.
Yeah, he's in the channel.
Okay, that's
Ugh.
a GC.
Yeah,
GK. I mean,
big G.
Colt kick. How do you spell kick anyway?
Oh, well, it depends on what language. Is there any language in which kick is spelled with a C?
I don't know. It's a good question. Oh, they're really teasing it out here. I bet 5 minutes. Oh, okay, there you go. That's a win for you.
I'm a
I guess
winner.
there were quite a lot of subs. That must have been what added on
Yeah.
that extra time.
Well, assuming this is it, this is a very favorable outcome for pure watchers. I mean, I don't know if
Yeah,
I,
that's
I
true.
mean, there condolences to people who lost a Palace clean sheet. I know Gahey is and Anderson maybe are hanging on to a few
Couple.
fantasy
Yeah,
sides.
yeah, handful. I would say.
But who had the assist to Welbeck on that goal?
I let me pull it up real quick. I can't remember. Um, Pascal Gross. Well, there you go.
Gross.
I felt like he kind of came on in the second half. He was
Yeah.
better than he was in the first. Okay, we got
All
four
right,
minutes
4 minutes
left
to
here.
make some dreams
Well,
come true.
it was fun. It's fun to watch these matches having been in the stadiums. It does give you some good perspective. I think
Yeah.
it's funny what you remember from these matches. It's like for this one, I remember the guy who told us that the venue that we were going was closed, which was a
Yeah. There's
total
no match
lie.
today.
Yeah,
You've been
there was.
you've been
Yeah,
misinformed, friend.
yeah, the bad waitress, the guy who wore the Everton hat in the Crystal Palace hospitality
Yeah, what a
section.
genius. I saw
Uh,
Steve Parrish.
that's right. You saw Steve Parrish. I didn't see him, but you saw him. Palace losing their clean sheet 2 minutes into the second half,
Hmm.
and then didn't Everton score like as we were like instantly after halftime? I feel like we were like walking to our seats
I
when
believe so,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And the Everton support was great.
Yeah. This is the one problem with hospitality, by the way, is you get like you sit down after you've been out in the cold, and then you sit down and you're like drinking like a glass of wine or whatever, and you're like, well, I could just sit here for an
Yeah.
hour. That'd be totally fine. And then you end up spending 20 minutes, and then inevitably something happens in the first 5 minutes of
Yeah.
second half.
That's when Holland scored his goal right after
Exactly.
the
Exactly.
second half
We
whistle.
walked out. We were walking to our seats when the cheers went up. Or actually, no, the jeers. I don't know
The
the
jeers,
the
yes. No, there
jeers
was a
went up.
bunch of fantasy managers
Yeah,
at the bridge
exactly.
that day. It was fantasy day.
Yeah, it actually that day worked out better than you, better, like pretty good for you in the end.
Oh,
Like
it was
that
incredible.
match. Yeah,
I got a brace and an assist from Holland captain after Salah, who was the other captain option,
yeah,
hauled earlier that day. And
yeah.
then I had Cole Palmer,
I know.
who got the
It
10.
feels like you've had some fun moments so far. I feel like you've had more fun moments than me this year, and yet I'm actually doing slightly better than you, which you would never know it based on the tenor of these pods.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure
Yeah.
how I am, honestly. I
Yeah.
mean, it's not very significant either. I think we're like 6 points separated, maybe tops, maybe four.
It all counts when we get to those pearly gates, Josh.
That's true.
They
Josh
only
Lennon
count the points.
beating Brendan Kelly always feels good. Let's see. Okay, we're into the final minute now
Oh
here.
my goodness. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't see it
Um,
happening here, but
no,
Palace have ceded control.
they have. It does feel like I think we might get one last shot on. Will it be
That
a
would be
shot on
fun.
target? One last shot at least. Okay, it's their build. Oh, this is
Ooh,
beautiful. Oh, well,
yes,
it was
yes,
actually very
yes.
nice. It was. Nope. Okay. Oh wow. Could we get a late counter here? No, we will not.
Van Heck says no.
Come on, Brighton.
Yeah,
Let's
plenty of
see
time here.
one final chance here. The little thing they did a minute ago, these like the little
Yeah.
the way they were cutting
Tippy
it.
tappy.
Yeah, it was very nice.
That's not the cross.
That's not it. Verbruggen. Or not Verbruggen, what's that guy's Van Heck.
Van Heck, Verbruggen. It's like
Yep.
the hit show Vikings over here.
All right, into the final 10 seconds.
Dunk carries it up, kicks it to another guy.
You gotta put that in the mixer. Won't someone put it in the mixer, Brandon? I'm begging. I'm begging for something to be mixed. He's gonna whistle.
The ref's just gonna whistle. Yeah, this is too much. A horrible cross.
Dudes.
Oh, dudes, yeah.
He's
blowing.
He did.
Idiots.
He did. Wow. All right. Well, a tie, draw, acceptable. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. That was fun. That was 2 hours. That was 2 hours of talking, Brendan. I think next time we're gonna have a guest on with us because that was I don't think.
Yeah, we needed we need a wild card to pop in and mix things up.
Yeah, but thanks everyone for that was. Yeah, thanks everyone for joining us, and we're gonna do this again. So thanks for listening.
I think this is the last time we'll talk to everyone before Christmas. So Merry Christmas to all who celebrate, and green arrows to you all.